every once in a while, I think it's a good idea to go back and look at your old writing. I think it's really healthy to compare your old writing to what you're currently writing, see how much you've improved and how much you've grown as a writer. And the other day, I opened up one of my old Google accounts because I was trying to clear stuff out, see what I had. And this is one I was using for school a couple years ago. And I happened to stumble on a book that I last edited on February 8th, 2017. So that's like 6 years ago is the last time I've edited this thing. So what, that would make it my sophomore year of high school? Yeah, that's a long time ago. And I thought it would be a fun exercise to go in and check it out. I remember back when I was in high school, I was very ambitious. I believed that I would be published by the time I graduated high school. And I kind of didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah, so I had all these goals to publish my first book before I graduated high school. Obviously that didn't happen. And honestly, I'm glad it didn't happen. A lot of what I wrote back then, as you'll probably see in a minute, it wasn't even ready to be in a book, nonetheless be published. I know there are a ton of authors out there who try to rush their first books and then they have to try to buy them all back, or they're super embarrassed of it and they hope that no one ever reads it. And I'm really glad I never put myself in that situation. I know back when I was in high school, as ambitious as I was, I didn't have that much confidence. So as a result, I would have a list of good ideas for stories. And because I didn't think I was ready to write them, I would put them aside and I would try to come up with new ideas that I wasn't as attached to. Because, I don't know, why would I write an idea I didn't care about? That was what I was doing back then. And this story, from what I can tell, appears to be one of those ideas that I didn't really care about, because I haven't even really looked at this doc. I want to read it for the first time and then give you my thoughts. I don't even remember writing this, so this definitely wasn't one of the ideas that I was super passionate about. The title is Abducted. None of my current work in progresses are named Abducted. So after I read this little portion, if you're like really excited about this story, I'm sorry to tell you, I have no plans to do anything with this except reflect on my old writing style and talk about some of the things I've improved. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna go right into it and do a little reading from this. Wow. February 8th, 2017. You never know what you're gonna find. Okay, the first chapter is named The Loser and His Planet. Here we go. This story starts out on the third planet of a small solar system in a galaxy light years away from anything of real significance in the galaxy. The planet's inhabitants, referred to as Earth, and themselves as humans, although the term is used across the galaxy, is forbidden A12 and hostiles for the creatures. You may be wondering how Earth managed to become one of the lists of 100 planets banned from the League of Galaxies, which is an alliance shared by almost 1 million planets. Earth failed its test to be accepted due to their lack of ability to say hello, using their favorite invention, known as a nuke, to blow the Alliance's first contact ships out of the air. Ever since that day, not one ship has landed on the planet, as it has been sentenced to have its inhabitants suffer for their foolishness alone in the galaxy by the Galactic Congress. Now, the Earthlings are not the smartest species in the galaxy, like they believe, and they are nowhere near the dumbest. But despite their blunders, I see they are above average in intelligence. As one of our galaxy's youngest species, they have evolved quickly, learning to control the planet and their environment. So you might ask why the galaxy looks down at Earth. After all, they aren't that bad, based on these descriptions so far. But their blunder with first contact was not their first error. For one thing, they have divided themselves into 100 pieces and just countries who act violently against themselves. How 1 million planets could unite and they can't work together is beyond the understanding of many. However, what disturbs the Alliance the most is the hostiles or humans' decision-making skills. Despite their large brains, they focus on urges and desires before common sense in every situation, especially ones involving the other gender. They make decisions to relate with others for no reason at all, emphasizing social skills over all things. Now that that's taken care of, it's time to come back to Earth and start this tale of a loser, the perfect girl, an alien fugitive, and many, many Alliance soldiers. Well, there are a couple few thousand words that go on after that, but I can't even bring myself to read them. I probably will in my own time, but I cannot emphasize how awful that story was. All jokes aside, reading this, I can really see some of that lack of confidence I had as a young writer. So you can kind of tell what I'm trying to do, but the voice seems very forced, and a lot of the jokes are not landing. I remember how I used to write like this. I think since then I've really improved my writing style. I've worked a lot on telling stories through different characters' point of view, really showing different characters' voices, allowing my jokes, because I do add a few jokes in my books, to land more naturally. Yeah, you can also tell that this was not an idea that I was too passionate about. There definitely wasn't an outline for this. But yeah, like I said before, reflecting on your writing is a great way to see how you've improved. Because when you're just reading what you wrote the day before every single day, it's easy to get really hard on yourself. It's easy to feel like you're not improving as a writer, even though you work countless hours at it. When you look back at something that you wrote years ago, especially something unedited and raw like this, you can really see some of those areas where you improved. And it's kind of motivating to know that if I continue writing, maybe one day what I'm currently working on, which I'm pretty proud of, might sound a little like the way this sounds to me now. And that's really exciting. Let me know in the comments how old you were when you tried to write your first book. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe because it really helps my channel out. Thanks for watching.